Good morning, everybody. I'm Tom Vassell.
I'm Z Garcia. Hello.
And I'm the podfather of gaming, Stephen Bonacore.
Alrighty, so most of that was true. Thank you, everybody, for coming on board Board Game Breakfast. We like to do some shout-outs to people that we actually care about. Our Kickstarter backers. We want to say thank you to Matthew McFarlane, Chad Pinchevsky, William McGinnis, Thor Soderlund, and Mr. M. Dudley. Thank you all very much for backing our Kickstarter. We really appreciate each and every one of you. If you're watching this, our Kickstarter stuff is being packed as we speak, and we'll be hopefully shipping, hopefully as early as next week. We want to get that stuff out to you all. We might even have a stretch goal next year where we delete Mr. Bonacore from the show, making us millions, I'm sure.
Wow. Huh. That is so wrong.
Oh, it feels so good, though. All right. So with that in mind, Mr. Bonacore will be a special guest next week at the Winter Spectacular because the other 40 people I asked all said no.
Again, he lies.
No, I'm kidding.
And he lies.
I'm kidding.
And he lies.
I'm kidding. It's a lot of fun. We're going to have a lot of fun next week doing our top 10s. This will be Mr. Bonacore's first time doing a top 10 game of the year. I don't think he's ever done that before.
I have never done that. I don't, usually review or rank or things like that, but I can talk about the 10 most exciting games that came out last year, and that's what I'm going to be doing. I thought it was we'll talk about it next time.
I don't know why you can't do that. Anyone can do that. You're not a publisher anymore. You can say whatever you want.
I'm a positive person. I don't say bad things about games.
It's a positive list. It's
a very positive list. But if number 11 didn't make the list, though, so therefore it's, that's a thing then.
If number 11 wants to be on the list, then get good, number 11.
Then get better.
There were 10 good games released last year. That's it.
Says Z.
This year again.
All right.
Not last year.
Well, with all that being said, we're going to get started here. And we're going to get started with some contributors. So here we go.
Howdy, folks. Welcome to By the Numbers. My name is Hunter Thomason from the Family Showdown. This time on By the Numbers, we have a special guest star. I love his wife, Rebecca, also from the Family Showdown. This time, we're continuing our Through the Years series. We're looking at the best game on Board Game Geek by year. Started way back in 1970. This time,
2015. Take a look at the top 5 over here, and you'll see that the number 1 for the year is Pandemic Legacy Season 1, number 2 of all time.
Pandemic Legacy is a legacy game. Imagine that. In this game, you build out a map, you're ripping up cards, you're doing all sorts of craziness through a series of 12 to 24 games, depending on whether you're good at it or not.
It's also part of a trilogy of games that includes Season 2 and Season 0, where it goes back in time before Season 1.
Taking a look at the ratings, over 44,000 of them. We see lots of 10s and 9s, some 8s, for an overall rating of 8.6.
Take a look at that weight, and you're going to see it's a 2.83. Not that difficult because you're starting out playing Pandemic, and you learn as you go with all the extra exciting bits.
We liked it so much that Rebecca actually made like a collage, a montage. They took the board of the game and made all kinds of cool things on it. In fact, let me show you what that looks like. So if you're looking for a legacy experience in board games, Pandemic Legacy Season 1 might be the game for you.
See you next time.
Hey everybody, what's going on? This is Nick Traeger with Meeples on the Ground, and today we're going to look at Que, a game by New Venture Games. This game takes about 10 minutes to play, is for ages 6 and up, and for 2 players. The objective of Que is to capture all of your opponent's pegs, or immobilize them so they have no more moves available to them, so they would lose. In this game, you go ahead and you'll be moving your pegs orthogonally across the board, which is up, down, left, or right, never diagonal. You'll move them until you're able to capture a peg by jumping over an opponent's peg, and then you will capture it. Also, at the beginning of your turn, if you do not have 4 pegs on the board, you will take one from your supply that are not captured and place it on the board wherever there is a free space. Then play will continue until one opponent's pegs are completely captured or their pegs are immobilized where they cannot make a legal move on their next turn, declaring the other player the winner. So that's Kwe by New Venture Games. We hope you all enjoyed this quick overview, and we'll see you all next time. Bye!
In this segment, we take a look at a board game based on an IP, and I tell you if the IP and the mechanisms match. Today, we're looking at Disney's Sidekicks, which is the newest Eric Lang big box game based on the Disney IP. Let me show you very quickly how to play it, and I'll tell you if the IP and the mechanisms match. In Disney Sidekicks, what you're going to be doing is you'll be playing as a sidekick. In this place, let's say you're Tinkerbell, and you're trying to save a hero from the game, who will be in the tower. Villains will be moving around the board, causing chaos and attacking you as the game goes on. Each round is very easy to play. You're going to take a card from the danger deck, flip it over, and do what it says. Normally, you will add something to the board, then something bad will happen to you, and the villains may go and attack the bad guys, or different actions that may happen. So then the players will have a number of actions. Normally what you'll be able to do is move around the board, and what you'll be trying to do is take these tokens off the board that will activate cards for you, or to get these little small chits that are guards off of it so the tower doesn't fill up. If the tower ever fills up, you'll lose. If you want to attack a bad guy, which will gain you a star, you'll roll a single 6-sided die. You'll have hits, misses, or you just gain a star. The reason why you want to gain the 5 stars is that you'll be able to unlock the lock here in the middle. If you unlock the lock, then you can save and rescue your hero and attempt to win the game. If you're able to rescue all 5 of the heroes and defeat one of the villains, you will be the winner. If the tower ever fills up, or all heroes lose their health, or 3 bridges are destroyed, you will lose the game. And that's how you play Disney Sidekicks. This is a new story. So what you're doing is you're going through playing the sidekicks to rescue the heroes. It's kind of cute. Why are the heroes all together in some kind of Kingdom Hearts kind of way? I suppose that it works in that regard. This is not a very good game. It's way too hard. It's way too luck-filled. The components are garbage. It's not a very good package altogether. It reminds me of Ghost Stories hard, or Robinson Crusoe hard, and it's going to turn off a lot of families. But do the IP and mechanisms work together? Sure. The idea of the sidekicks getting to be the heroes and save the heroes from the villains is a really fun experience, and I think that idea of it is very good, but the execution of the game is going to keep you wanting. Absolute purr, do not be tricked by your love of Disney. This is not a game that you want to partake in.
Everybody, it's time for the game show. It is Mr. Bonacore versus Mr. Garcia versus you. That's right. You all have a chance to play. Just throw some answers in the chat, and I will grab 4 of them randomly. I'm going to be asking a question with a numerical answer. I'll take 4 random things from the people, and Mr. Bonacore and Mr. Garcia will each give an answer, and we're trying to get the closest to the answer without going over. So I need you all to kind of come up with your answer in your head before hearing the other person's answer. Don't, one person says 70, don't say 71. Have your answer prepared ahead of time.
Got it.
Okay.
Yeah, I guess we can not cheat. Okay. You're telling us not to cheat, basically. Okay.
That's what I'm
Don't
trying
look
to
at the
well, no,
so
I'm not
don't look at
cheat.
Don't look at the chat over here, right? Okay, I will put this so
I'm going to write it down.
I have
fine. That being said, if Mr. Bonacore or Mr. Garcia, if you are the closest without going over more than anybody else, you get 5 points. If you are closer than anyone else except one person, you get 3 points. If 2 people beat you, 1 point. Otherwise, you give the people 3 points. Straight up. So there you go. All the questions today, there's only 7 questions, have to do with classic games. So our first question has to do with...
This is an unfair advantage to Mr. Stephen Bonacore.
I thought about that, but I picked some of these games, about half of them, came out before he was born. So he doesn't have an advantage on that. This one, unfortunately, did.
You went all the way back to the 1800s for some of these? That's amazing.
No, farther than that.
Ladies
So
and
the first
gentlemen,
question,
The
We'll talk about one
ageism
that-
in the industry is very prevalent. I'm just letting you know. This is true.
we'll
Go
talk
ahead.
about one that did come out during his lifetime. That's chess. So when it comes to chess, I went and looked at some chess websites that did stats on chess. And between professionals, what's the average number of moves in a chess game amongst ranked players? So they did like thousands of games. How many moves are in the average chess game?
Average moves in okay, you're not telling me if it's master, grandmaster, or something, but it's professional players. I guess you have to be.
It's
Hey,
a
that would
move.
change your
It's
your
a move.
answer.
Tom, is a move a single player's go? That's one move.
No,
I
I think
yes,
it is.
yes.
If I move and you move, that was the first move of the game. Does that count as two
That's
moves?
2 moves.
Are you sure? You're sure?
Yes.
Okay. This is very important to me. I know chess, sort of.
Okay.
Oh, the people I should write down theirs.
Hmm.
All right, I got them. All right, we're gonna start with you, Mr. Bonacor. What do you say?
Assuming it's a move per person kind of thing, not the way I was saying it. 59.
59. I didn't ask you your age, Mr. Garcia.
Thank you. It's a little
That's
younger.
weird that you say that. My answer is my age. That's so weird.
That is pretty
38.
fun. And mine's really close, right? So
What'd you
that's
say, Z?
38. That's just like I did not even think about it till you said that. I'm like, oh wait,
I-
jeez, I did.
I
that.
was gonna say 60, and I just went one lower because usually go one lower sometimes.
All right. The
Yeah,
people
yeah.
said 42, 3,
Fair.
56, and 45.
3 is
We
the
have a
right answer.
3-year-old in the audience. How do we get a 3-year-old in the audience?
They're not all ages. The actual
Oh.
answer of the average chess game length is 38.
Oh!
So
Are you serious?
I'm serious.
In your face, Bonacor. I'm a beast. I'm on fire today.
You are a beast. You said you were going to be on fire when we were on the break.
However, Mr. Bonacor, you went over, so you gave the people 3 points. So right now, the score is 5 for Z, 3 for the people, and nothing for Mr. Bonacor.
every time I say I know something about something, I do horribly. So I know nothing about
Oh,
nothing, as you would say usually anyway.
Alrighty,
Therefore,
well,
I'm
here's
gonna win.
something you could possibly know.
I don't.
If you buy a normal game of Scrabble, an American version, what percentage of the tiles are vowels?
Ooh.
What percentage of Scrabble tiles are vowels?
Oh my goodness, that's so hard.
Vowels. Percentage of the tiles are vowels. And it cannot be over 100, right?
It must
I
be
will help
between
you out
0.
and give you a hint.
You will.
Uh,
Okay, is that the hint? Between 0 and 100?
Yes, yeah, that's my hint.
It's English. It's English.
Someone says accuracy on that last question. That's your new
Yeah.
name. You've lost a Zeevil.
I
Huh.
like it. I like both actually, but this will work for a while.
All right, I got the people's choice. Let's start with you, Mr. Garcia.
I'm gonna say 26%. I'm probably
Alright.
a little low, but I want to be low.
All right.
I'm going to say 29%.
All right.
Dang it.
29%. The people said
It might be a little over
25, 22, 13, and 45.
And the answer
Actual answer, 42%.
That's why I get
Yeah.
crappy letters all the time.
So
Yeah.
actually,
I figured
though,
I was
that's
gonna go.
good.
I was gonna go for a straight guess of a third. I was gonna go 33. But then I'm like, let me back off. It might be really close to that. I don't want to
Mhm.
overshoot by 1 or 2%. But
Right.
yeah, wow.
Here's the good news for you, Z. You actually beat everyone except Mr. Bonacor. So he gets 5 points, but you get 3.
There we
Therefore,
go.
that brings our current scores. You have 8. Mr. Bonacor has 5. The people still only have 3.
Okay.
That's not bad, not bad. All right, let's jump to another game here where we at Chinese checkers, did you know, not invented in China?
I did
Also,
not know that, but I figured.
Is this another
it also
Marco
did
Polo
not
thing?
come from checkers. It was actually invented in Germany. My question is, what year was Chinese checkers invented? What year was Chinese checkers invented? So let's see. Alrighty. Looking at the answers here. Yeah, I was not surprised that it wasn't Chinese checkers, but I did assume it was an American who would have called it that. And maybe
Yeah.
it is, actually.
Yeah.
Maybe Americans are the
Maybe
ones who
it
gave
is.
it the name.
Right. It could be, right. I mean,
All
Chinese
right.
checkers, is Chinese checkers the one with the star and the marble jumping? Is that right?
Yes.
Right, marble jumping. It's like, right, it's kind of like checkers, but you've got a big star and you can play with it. I think you can play with 6 people even, can't you? Yeah.
Yes, I hate it.
You just have to
If you play
go
with
to
6
the
people,
opposite side.
I hate it so much. All right.
I'm not
Mr.
a
Bongo,
fan anyway.
what's
to
your
be
date?
fair.
Yeah, I went real old on this, somewhere around my birth year, 1621.
1621. Got it. Z,
I did not go that old. I went to 1820.
1820. The people said 1908, 1956, 1850, and 1925.
Okay.
Where do you think you landed on this? All right. Unbelievably, the date is 1892. So the people got the closest with 1850. The second closest, though, is Z. The third closest, go figure, is Mr. Bonacor, because everyone else of the people went over. So right now the score is 11 for Z, 6 for Mr. Bonacor, and the people still only have 3.
All right.
I do notice when this sort of thing happens, you all never complain about the scores. It's only when the people start winning.
No, this one's good so far, Tom. I have to tell you, the scoring so far is
So far,
on
your-
point.
Your scoring
We'll see how
system is
things go.
okay.
All right,
You
so
know,
we talked.
This play
Our
test
question,
is so far going well. Yeah.
our question number 1 was the average moves in a chess game. So I read a study by Ogawa and Davies. They did a bunch of studies of the length of professionals of a Go game. So how long was their average? They went and looked at thousands of different Go games. How long was the average moves in one of those in a Go game?
Average number of moves in a game.
In a game of
average.
Go.
I'm confused here. Average game length, average length of time. I don't understand what you're
No,
asking.
number of moves. Same as chess, basically.
Average number of moves.
Yes, in a Go game.
Okay.
Is this also professionals?
Okay.
Not that matters because.
Yes, but it's also people, placing a stone on the board here. That's the move. So
Yeah, I know. You ever played Go?
I did.
Maybe the hardest game in the world.
I appreciate it very much from a very far distance.
Yes, yeah, exactly. It's a beast. I cannot wrap my mind around it.
Oh yes, let me start the people's choice here.
Average number of moves.
All right, Z, you're going to be first on this one.
I'm going to say 61.
61. All right, Mr. Bonacor.
49.
49. The people said 190. I'm sorry, 98. 198, 16, and 56. Actual answer is 220.
Wow.
220. So the closest was the
Wow, wait.
people. The second closest was the people. The third closest was Z. So you get 1 point. But Mr. Bonacor gives the people another 3 points.
You're welcome, people.
So Z has 12 points, which is double the score of Mr. Bonacor, who has 6, and the people who also have 6.
Go ahead,
Call
man.
it. Call it right now.
Mock the
Nope.
people, Z. I'm a man of
There's
the people. I
still
stay with the people. I
2 more.
hang with the people.
There's 3 more questions. All right. So let's jump over to checkers. This is another date. In what year did a computer become the world checkers champion? In what year did a computer win the championship some championship of checkers.
For the first time ever.
Yes, for the first time.
It shouldn't
I
probably
might
be
recommend going back
probably
to the
not
other
be at
date of
1600s.
1621.
Probably not.
We had the same joke at the same time there. Yes. All right, I got the people's choice answers. Let's see. It's back to Mr. Bonacore to go first here. Your range here is much smaller, but it's easy to go over, maybe, right?
It's easy to go
Yeah.
over. 1973. Checkers is a solvable problem. It's not. It's unlike chess, which obviously I won't say it in case Tom uses chess. What happens, Z? Did you pick like the same number? Don't tell me.
74.
Oh no, that is so uncool of you.
Well, the people said 92, 88, 83, and wait, did I write that down right?
And 1735.
Sorry, 86. 86 was the other one.
Yeah, I thought the same thing as you, Steven.
It's
Checkers. A computer can handle checkers. I figured 70s.
somebody
Not even late
programmed it.
70s.
Somebody programmed it, and it could even be earlier than
All
this. I'm
righty,
sure.
well, the answer is 19. So you got that part right.
Yes.
Get
94.
out.
1994.
You know
Guys,
why?
that's still 27 years ago.
The reason is because nobody cared to write the program to do this.
Well, here's
I
the
agree with
news.
that.
The people beat you guys across the board. That gives them 6 more points. So now the score is 12 for Z, 12 for the people, and 6 for Mr. Bonacore.
Go people, go people, go people.
That's not
how
when I told
games
you to
work.
call it.
I'm rooting for the people now. I'm gonna throw this. No,
All
I
right.
won't do that.
Let's talk about Yahtzee. All right, so if you play Yahtzee by the rules of Yahtzee, where you roll the dice, you can pick some dice, re-roll them, pick some of those dice, and re-roll them again. What's your chance of getting Yahtzee, which is 5 of a kind? I'm not saying what's the chance of getting Yahtzee on a single roll.
All right.
I'm saying what's the chance of getting Yahtzee if you get to do the re-rolls. So I'm looking for a percentage here.
Wow.
Okay.
Oh wow.
This could be useful information. And Mr. Bonko, you printed several roll rights, and I'm sure you did the math on all of them.
Every one of those, I know the exact math, but I didn't do Yahtzee because I'm not Hasbro.
Didn't it come out after you started your publishing company?
Chances of getting Yahtzee.
You wish you did Yahtzee, because then
Oh.
you'd be really retired right now.
I would have retired many years ago.
Of course, the guys who
Yahtzee-
made Yahtzee were
Yahtzee-
already fairly
Yahtzee
wealthy
has
since it
5
was named
dice,
after
right?
a yacht.
Oh, was it? Oh, I didn't
Yeah,
know
they
that.
played it on their yacht. That's where the Yahtzee came from. That's not an urban myth. That's actually true. All right. Here we go. I'm writing down the peoples here. All right, I got the
Can you use
peoples.
decimals?
You can use decimals. Yes. Z, what do you got?
3.1%.
3.1. Mr. Bonacore?
I put 7%, and
7.
I could probably calculate this right now if I really. No, it's gonna be hard to do.
All right, the people did, yeah, because actually, what was
Yeah.
the thing that you and I we were debating once, and we actually emailed Jeff Engelstein to get the answer.
We said,
Yeah.
we know who could do the math on this. Jeff Engelstein. I texted him, and he's like, oh, yeah, I wrote a program to do that exact thing that we were doing. So,
It was something to do with dice. We were talking about rolling different dice. I can't remember what it was, but we had a long debate about it.
Yes.
Anyhow, the people said 1.23, 21, 4, and 1. The answer is 4.61%.
I suck so
So
bad at
essentially,
this.
1 out of 20 times, or 25 times, sorry, 1 out of 25 times, you will roll it. Maybe 1 out of 22 times, sorry. So the closest to that was the people. The
Wait,
second
I thought
closest.
I was the closest. What
No,
did I
one of the
get?
people said 4. You said 3.1.
don't
You were
like
the
that.
second closest. The third closest was the people again. So Z gets 3 points. The people get 3 points. So now the score is 15 to 6. And I just want to be clear.
Come on, Steven.
You've
Come
been
on, baby.
mathematically eliminated unless I made this last question double points.
But if I pay the people like in real cash and they'll give me all their points, then I can beat Z, right? There's got to be a rule for that.
All righty, let's go back to chess.
There's got to be some sort of
We started with
rule.
chess, we'll end with chess. So if in an opening chess move, there are 20 different moves that you can make with your opening chess move. Each pawn can move forward 1 or 2, and you can move the knights into 4 positions. There's some argument that there's actually 21 moves in chess because resigning before the game starts could be considered a move.
That's my move.
So my question, though, is, so there's 20 different possibilities for your first move. How many possibilities are there in your first 4 moves?
Whoa.
In your first 4 moves, how many different possibilities are there?
That's an insane number. How many possibilities?
Give me an insane answer. I'm kidding. All your answers have been insane.
Fairly insane. All right. I'm going to use a calculator. Is that okay? Just so I can put some numbers. I can tell what I'm just picking numbers.
Just use a calculator. You're
so basically, no matter what, like the absolute possible amount of, like, no matter what you did on the first turn, like cascading from that.
Right. Exactly. Right. And then it's basically how many combinations.
Like how many board states could you possibly have, basically eliminating the opponent?
Yes.
By the okay. Jeez.
Oh my God.
Oh, I'm getting answers here.
After 4 moves?
Okay, I'm gonna take some crazy guess. I don't know. I don't think it's that crazy, but.
All right. Well, who's first here? It's actually Mr. Bonico. You're first. What do you got?
Coming up with a different.
Trying to math this out.
1, 2, 3, 4. 81,920. Booyah.
Okay, Z.
I wrote down 126.
You did not.
I sure did.
All right. The people wrote 50,000, 200 billion, 190, and 78. The actual answer is 318 billion, 979 million, 564,000. So the people were the closest. Mr. Bonico was
I'm going to go ahead and guess that 126.
Second closest. Third closest was also the people. Yep. So the people get 3 more points from Z, and Mr. Bonico gets 3 points, bringing our final scores: 9 for Mr. Bonico, 15 for Z, and 18 for the people. You're right, Z. I should have called it when you were ahead.
You got to take this one back to the drawing board, Tom.
Yeah. Fail on the scoring mechanisms. And
no,
doesn't work.
The game, my critics' comment would be, it goes on too long. You want to end it about halfway through.
All right, folks, we'll be back just a bit with the news. Let's jump to some contributors.
Hello everyone, I am Clara Barker, and today I'm talking about a game called Res Arcana, and I'm talking about it because I've played it both physically and digitally. This is one of those games that I've actually managed to play it both. Now, obviously I own Res Arcana, and Res Arcana is an engine building game. It's a deck building engine building game, but it's a really short, sharp, snappy game. It's a quick game, and you've got to, it's almost a race to get your engine building. You don't have time to sort of casually pull things together. You've got to know what you're doing right from the start, and I recommend sort of drafting in that regard. And you've just got to get off to a running start. Like I say, it's quite a quick game. It's not a long game. And I think this is where actually the physical version, it's not going to stay in my collection, because I wanted this for a while. But if I'm building an engine building game, I think I'd rather play something with more meat on it, like one of my favorite games, 51st State, because this just feels a little bit light. And if I'm honest, it's not too big a box, but it takes up more space than it necessarily needs. And on the table, you need quite a bit of table space for it, because once you start laying your engine out, it gets quite big. And for the size of game it is and the length of game, it's just, I don't know, it just doesn't feel like it needs that much space. Clearly it does, but it's not what I want. Now, if I want to play a filler game, I think I'd rather play something more like, I don't know, like Welcome to or something. It's just, I love engine builders, but I'd rather play a big, meaty engine builder than a quick one. Whereas online, and it's on Board Game Arena, online it's fine. I don't mind just sort of playing a quick, snappy game with some people. So, yeah, it's interesting. I'm happy to play it online, but I don't think I'm going to keep the physical version anymore. But that's just my opinion. I'd love to know what you think. And until next time, take care and bye!
Happy breakfast, everyone. Today I'm here to talk to you not about a single game, but the Unmatched series. Now, there are a few of these boxes available in the UK, and I think there's even more in the US. There's more to come, including Marvel ones. But what are they? Well, effectively, they are a sort of a one-on-one fight, a duel between two players. You're going to open the board up, you're going to choose a character each, and you can mix and match between the boxes. Each main hero, they have a health dial, and when that hits 0, you have lost. Now, you're going to be doing that by playing these attack cards. Sometimes you can defend against them if you've got one of the defense cards in your hand. There's some that are attack or defense, so it gives you a bit more flexibility. And a few schemes that sort of do big, important events. Maybe maneuvering the other players' fighters, allowing you to sort of move them and then clobber them down. Something certainly Merlin can do for King Arthur. Now, the range of characters is great. You've got, like in this box, you've got King Arthur, Medusa, and 4 in that box. And then, like in the small ones, you've got Robin Hood here and Bigfoot. And you can get into the series via either of the boxes. This isn't necessarily an expansion. You could pick this up and have a full game of it. You know, maybe swap heroes around. And the decks do really make the people feel different. Robin Hood's running around. Medusa's got lots of harpies that you might have to contend with. Alice can actually get bigger or smaller. So each person feels unique, and it feels a really balanced combat. Despite the name being Unmatched, they are matched up quite fairly. Anyway, that is Unmatched. Let me know your favourite fighter in the comment section below. And I'm Oliver East, signing out.
All right, folks, we got some news for you here, realizing, of course, that, this is the week of PAX Unplugged is happening starting tomorrow and going over the weekend. So there's always a possibility a few things will get announced there. I don't know. But this is what we have currently. First of all, we have a Korean publisher, Platy, has announced a few games. This one here from Wolfgang Kramer, Vampire Queen. Now, I think this is Is this a redone version of an older game?
I don't know. I don't know what the game is. Could be.
Yeah, it's co-produced by Popcorn Games. It's a climbing card game for 3 to 12 players. It sounds new. I don't remember a climbing game for 3 to 12.
That's a very big range of players. So the only thing I can think of like that is the Garfield game. What's that climbing game? The
Magic the Gathering?
No.
Yeah,
the one with like the 1 is the best card and the 12s and.
Oh, you're talking about the Dilbert Corporate Shuffle?
Yeah.
The other version, the original version of that. I just can't remember what.
Same game. Yeah. The dunce hat thing, whatever that's called.
Yeah, you got to be the whatever. It sounds like that when you have 1 to 13 on the cards. 12 players.
This might be a reprint of that Fox one he did, though, Tom. That's a Kramer game.
Well, let me look it up on Board Game Geek. It might actually tell us if it's a. It actually has 405 reviews. Yes, it re-implements a game called Ox and Essel.
Oh.
Oh, I don't know that one. I don't think so.
And that re-implemented a game, Who's the Butt?
At
Which is
Bonneford.
also Kramer. Huh?
Oh, I thought it was a question. I'm sorry. I was answering.
Who's the butt?
All right, moving on.
Oh, the Great
Another
Dalmoody. The Great Dalmoody is what I was thinking of. Okay, never
Yes,
mind.
that's correct.
Sorry.
All right. Another game they're reprinting. This one I do know. The original game was Kupfer Kessel Co. is now being done as Glastonbury, which shows a bunch of ingredients thrown into a witch's brew here.
Mm.
So this is a Gunter Burkhardt game. You know, I don't know if these older games need to be remade. I do remember that cover in the top corner there.
I don't think I saw that one. I know the designer stuff a little bit, but I don't know, Tom. These games are so small and unassuming little things. I don't mind little games being reprinted. It's much easier for a game like this to be a neat game and be forgotten. And so therefore,
let me rephrase it. I don't think it matters that much either way, actually. Like, it'll come out, people are like, oh, that's neat. It will introduce maybe a few new people to the game, and then we'll see.
Yeah.
So that's 2 in a row from Korea. So all of these games are from the same company or different companies in Korea? I'm looking at the next one. Playtee
yeah, the next one I think is actually from a different company, maybe.
Nope, Playtee. Same.
Oh, no, it is from the same company. You're right. There's another reprint, though. This is from Reiner Knizia. The original game was Penguin Party, which originally was produced in a very terrible production from Fantasy Flight Games where you physically stacked the penguins. But they didn't stack very well at all. It was just a bad game all around. When it's played as just a card game, which they remade it later on, it's better, but it's still very, very light.
Yeah, I remember that, playing the card game one. I never did see that plastic one, but I heard it was very fiddly.
Yeah, the penguins had they were plastic penguins. They had little slots in them that you stuck on the other ones, or the whole thing would fall over. But it wasn't a dexterity game. That's the thing. It wasn't if you knock it over, you lose. It's just if you knock it over, everyone at the table gets annoyed.
Mm-hmm.
This one gives us the ability to really drive Roy crazy as we pop our peas. Penguin Party's poor production.
Sure. So next we have a duplicate theme game, Raccoon Robbers. If you remember a few years ago, there was Trash Pandas. So this is pretty much the same theme here, but this one here is from Pegasus Spiel, and it's from Jürgen Rey, who did Carcassonne. This one actually, I'm kind of pumped about this one. It looks pretty neat from that picture there.
Yeah, I like the look of those 3D houses, and it looks like little meeples maybe moving up the side of the building. That looks cute.
Why do we need sloped houses? Is there like a mechanic that they fall down?
Yeah, I'm wondering that too.
Or what do you
say?
If you're just placing it on it, it could be a nice flat surface. I mean, it's cute. Don't get me wrong. I like the colorful.
Well, here's the thing. Let's say you can drop something and it rolls down and knocks other pieces. Then it's automatically a 10 out of 10.
That game's a 10. As long as I can screw up my pieces. Perfect.
All right. First Rat. This is the rat that lives in the White House. Actually, I don't know what it is. It's based on.
He's like a first man play on words, right? Like going out into space.
Yes, he's the first rat going into space. That's a takeoff. And oh my God, we have like these takeoffs. There was a book written about like rats going to the moon, I think.
Oh, you're right.
Do you remember that? And
there was a series of books, like kids' books.
Yes, they were young adult or children's
One was
books.
like Paul Revere's Horse.
Something on the moon. Mice on the moon? Something like, hey, chat, you got to remember this. So this is huge. We got all this like coming back from like my childhood today. This is great.
Okay. Well, anywho, this game looks interesting here.
This looks like a big game, much bigger than you would expect from looking at the cover.
I agree. This looks like a pretty involved Euro-style game. The junkyard, you're building your thing. It has a solo mode included. So, yeah, I mean, I'm hoping it's good.
Looks good. I like the board.
I want to get my rat to the moon first.
All right.
All right. Now from Hook, we have a game for 2 to 5 players called Dollars Wanted. That's an odd name. You're playing stuff and you're trying to crack a safe at the right time. It looks like it's a push your luck style game.
I have a feeling this was a translation thing, because that is a weird name.
Yeah, it feels that way. Dollars Wanted.
What do you want?
I like the
dollars.
Maybe the name of this character is Dollars. Dollars Wanted.
Yeah.
Maybe that's it.
They got to catch him.
You know?
Or he cracks
his
open another
wanted
safe.
poster. His name's Dollars. Wanted, dead or alive. Yeah. I do like the artwork on the little characters. But honestly, this is not a good cover. To be fair, I think it's not really giving up any information, is it?
Nothing.
No, but the description made me interested in it, so we'll see.
Cool.
All right, it's a week of reprints. Another reprint has been announced by Repros called Masquerade. And while we were looking at the news earlier, Mike asked me, he's like, why would they reprint Masquerade? And I told him Masquerade is actually one of the best-selling games from Mr. Fiduti. It's not one that a lot of people know, but I know it's done very well and has sold quite a bit. So Repos, who I wonder, the Repos branding without the guys who run it, it's like just a name now? I don't know. It's kind of weird. You know, the whole sombreros, Belgium wearing sombreros, those guys now have their own company, right?
Cedric and those guys, right?
Yeah, but they're not with Repos anymore. I think they went and started their own new company.
Yeah, but I mean, I still think that there's a value in branding, games and people who like a specific type of game. Oh, I really want to go and buy Repos games. I want to go buy Fantasy Flight games. You know, there are definitely people who say things like that. So I think it's value.
If you like games where everyone sits around a table and are winking at each other or trying to get, match each other, you'll like Masquerade. It has a very specific audience. It's more mass marketing party type style. Some people hate this game that I've met.
I find it bluffing. It's like a bluffing, double bluffing, slightly memory game, right? I mean, there's a little bit of all those things in there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. All righty. Next we have Skull Canyon Ski Fest. That's a cool name. You don't think so?
No. Skull Canyon Ski Fest? No.
Well,
I like if it was just, I don't know.
It would look better if there was some dice bursting from the cover and the name was like Frosh.
That's a great.
You would promote.
It's a great, horrible name, as we talked about. I like the fact that this is actually a game about skiing. I don't know anything about it other than that it's a ski resort opening and you're having this festival. That's because that hasn't been done that I can think of, at least. So that's cool. Skull Canyon sounds like, I don't know, something. Well,
I like the art on it a lot. This board and the cover make me think of that Yeti game that came out ages ago where you were coming down a mountain trying not to get hit by the Yetis with snowballs or something.
Oh, I don't know what. I do like the board though. That board looks cool.
Yeah.
I like what's going on in here, and I like the setting.
Definitely.
All right, biggest news of the week: Munchkin Babies. I know that you've been dying for this one here. It's a new Munchkin game. It's coming in January 2022. You can be an orcling, dwarfling, elfling, quarterling. That's half of a halfling. And go to preschool to learn how to be a whiz kid, ankle biter, crumb snatcher, or holy terror. This is going to sell well. And it's going to sell well.
It's going to sell incredibly well. All Munchkin games sell incredibly well. I'm looking forward to this. I keep it positive, Tom. I keep it positive. I'm not looking forward to this.
Yeah, like when you're like, I'll always be positive. We'll be like, challenge accepted.
Challenge accepted. Tell us about what you think about Munchkin Babies, Barnacle. Oh, no.
All right, Mega Man Adventure. So this is coming from Blacklist game. The last Mega Man game, which came from Jasco, was a terribly bad game, which is universally, it's pretty lowly rated on Board Game Geek. I think it's in the bottom couple hundred games. Beautiful pieces, but the game itself isn't good. Hopefully this one's better. These guys designed Salvation Road, the designers, and Dark Dealings, Dwarven Delve. It's you move through. It's based on Mega Man 1, 2, and 3.
I don't know the IP.
You don't know Mega Man?
I do not. I'm sorry.
Oh.
You don't know who that Mega Man is, even?
I am the Omega Man, but who's Mega Man?
Oh, Mega Man is one of the most popular franchises of video games. It's from Capcom. It is Capcom, right?
I think so. It's also like just an extremely one of the most famous anime
I assume
characters
right?
ever.
Looks like anime. It looks. I mean, I like the anime look to it. I do.
The Mega Man games is a stylistic thing that a lot of other games have copied. I mean, I'm not saying it was the first, but it's the one that made it famous, where you can go through multiple levels. You pick, like, instead of saying you go through levels 1 through 8, you pick like the ice level. You go through a bunch of levels. You beat the boss there, who was always some weird name like Duckman, Iceman. Once you beat him, you get a special ability that you can then use to go beat the other levels and things.
Right, got it.
So
yeah, I mean, he is as big. He's not quite as big as Mickey Mouse, but he is as big as Mario, I would say.
Really?
No, Mario's the king.
Who?
He's
okay. He's as big as Luigi. How about that?
Do you like Super Skill Pinball? If you do, you can print and play a holiday theme board for it.
Ooh.
I don't know that I've ever seen a Christmas pinball machine, actually.
Really? That's gotta be a thing, right?
I don't know that I've ever seen a Christmas pinball machine, but
I would play one. That sounds fun, right?
This is cool.
Yeah, this looks cool, and it looks like it's following the idea of the the first expansion, where there was like an extra level board to hit things up into. Maybe, I don't know. It's hard to tell.
Have they announced any other expansions?
They have not.
Okay, you know about them. I know about them. We can't really talk about them yet.
Trying to cut you off.
Yes. No. I would. That's why I'm saying. But there's some really good stuff coming for this. That's all. We can say that.
You just talked about it, okay?
No, I didn't say anything.
A letter in the mail.
You're
going to be getting a letter in the mail.
Jeff, I'm having dinner with Jeff Engelstein tomorrow night. He'll yell at me.
You just said it's from Jeff Engelstein. Letter in the mail.
You're giving out more hints.
This is all of the Super Skill Pinballs by Jeff Engelstein and WizKids.
All right. In news that Mr. Bonaker cares about.
Yes.
The Flat River Group has acquired Greater Than Games. So several years ago, Greater Than Games acquired, swallowed, and almost got rid of Dice Hate Me. That's a smaller company. Now they've been bought out by the Flat River Group. Greater Than Games has two very strong properties, Sentinels of the Multiverse and Spirit Island. They also have many other games, but those are easily their two most popular games.
And they've moved Sentinels into comics. They've done a lot of things with that. It's a nice rich IP that they developed. In general, and let's talk a little bit about Flat River for a moment. That's a name that a lot of people don't know. They are multi things in gaming and adjacency to gaming. They're like PSI, so they're a consolidator. They bring in smaller publishers and send to distribution from there. They're a distributor. They have their own network of distribution as well, and they're also a vehicle for companies to get into Target and Walmart like PSI. So they basically do things that PSI do, but adding the distribution segment that they have that as well. I was really excited when I heard this. Greater Than Games, a really nice bunch of young people, and I'm happy to see that they're now going to they'll even do better with a big partner like Flat River. So this to me was really cool, a non-Asmodee merger or acquisition within
It is nice to be able to talk about something like this and not say the word Asmodee.
Yeah.
In other news, Asmodee
That's a great segue, dude.
That's good, Tom. I saw it coming. I was going to jump on it. I saw it coming, and I backed off because you nailed that.
Cheers. You win.
Asmodee has made a strategic investment, which means they have put a lot of money into Exploding Kittens, the game publisher who made the game Exploding Kittens, and also the little game called A Little Wordy. But yes, Exploding Kittens is what they wanted.
Right.
So apparently it says that the Exploding Kittens company has sold 18 million games from its catalog of 20 titles. I think their most popular is Exploding Kittens. They've also done Bears and Babies, or Exploding Minions. There's quite a few games that they're all doing well.
They're doing very well. Our friend Eric Lang actually has got a full-time relationship with them right now, designing games and consulting with them. This is gonna, we need these kind of games more out there, because somebody plays Exploding Kittens, they're gonna find out later about Ticket to Ride, and then they find out about the next game and the next game, and they're part of our hobby. So I was happy to see this kind of thing happening. Again, I think Asmodee is a net positive for industry. A lot of people don't like them, gamers, but I think as a net they are positive.
I used to agree with you. I'm not so sure anymore, but we'll see. Their most popular game, I says, Exploding Kittens. Throw Burritos also does pretty well. And I'm not reading the name of all these games. Okay, so a big news, and I think this will be something that you'll see somewhat showcased at PAX. I would not be surprised. And that is the new legacy game, Jurassic World, The Legacy of Isla Nublar. This is from Funko Games. So it's a legacy game that's basically Jurassic Park, where it starts with some dinosaurs. You see some dinosaur miniatures. There's obviously more dinosaur miniatures in those other boxes and sealed envelopes and stuff like that. I have deliberately not looked into this much more because since it's a legacy game, I like to be surprised by them as I open up all the stuff in it. But I am pumped because a legacy game with a Jurassic theme from Funko sounds like it could be pretty good.
It's a good pairing, right? Yeah.
Yep. Love the idea here.
I like the cover too. It has that pulp adventure font. That legacy
cover, that cover makes me think of old mass market games, which is kind of neat that they're towing that line. You know what I mean? I feel like this is the one game that's going to introduce a lot of people who are maybe not even gamers to this idea of a game that you change over multiple plays. It has that potential, right? With that cover, with this theme, I feel like suddenly we're going to have some people.
I'm excited about this. And this is a Kickstarter game by them, right? Funko do Kickstarters? Interesting.
Yes, it's hitting Kickstarter on March 22nd.
That's very specific
date. It's a mid-release of 2022. So I'm not sure what that means if the game's already because if it's being released mid-2022, then the production factory already started making it, or they're about to press the button.
Yeah, that's very aggressive if they haven't printed the game already, or by the point of end of March 2022, have it like 6 months later, and that would be the middle. It's even late-ish. Interesting. I'm excited. I'm a enthusiast on this one.
All righty. Well, folks, that is it for the news. Thanks for watching.
Hi, it's Tarrant.
And Stella from Meeple University and the Dice Tower.
Sometimes luck's just not on your side.
No.
We were playing a game of Show with Bandits recently. This is a nice little push your luck dice rolling game. And you send your meeples out to go and hunt down wagons as part of Robin Hood's gang. And if you don't roll collectively over the defense value of the cart, then you don't get any loot. And we've seen that sort of mechanic before, and things weren't falling your way. You just weren't getting loot.
Because the idea here, the lesson I learned is that never put all of your eggs in the same basket. because, sorry, continue, Taryn.
It's your story.
No, and then turns out that the strength of it is the impossible to defeat one. It was so sad. I was like, okay, this is the last round. I have not been getting any loot. And reveal, ta-da, maximum. I was so sad. I had to walk out from the game a little bit, like for 2 seconds.
Yeah, one last ditch effort, and not even letting the dice lose it for you. It was the draw of the card with the deliberately impossible card. So
I think this happens with other games as well. Have you played any games that is basically you just want to spread your things? I'm sure there are games like in the Panamax, you want to spread your stocks, buy stocks from different people. Maybe that's why I keep winning. I don't know. Food chain magnet, you want to buy different type of food so that you don't actually get cornered out in the market. Just let us know in the comment if you have anything like that. Have you got anything you can think of, Taryn?
that's for another video.
Okay then, that's it. Hopefully you enjoyed that and see you next time.
Hi everybody, I'm Doug Jr. from Duck and Doug Gaming, and you're watching a Fellowship of Meeples. You know, I love being a grandfather, but I just don't have any regular flesh-colored Band-Aids in the house anymore. All I have are these brightly colored things that draw attention to the fact that I had a battle with a birdcage and a stink bug. But that's a story for another time. Right now, we're going to talk about my third favorite tabletop app, and that is Elder Sign, the app version. In case you're not familiar with Elder Sign, it's a great tabletop game where you roll dice, you're trying to overcome adventures, you have to roll certain combinations of these dice, you lose dice along the way, but you can gain dice to help you out. You can mitigate the dice rolls by using certain powers that your character may have or by playing certain cards. And it's just a lot of fun. If you overcome the adventure, you're going to receive some rewards. If you fail the adventure, of course, there are some penalties. Now, ultimately, you're trying to gain enough Elder Signs to defeat a particular monster, a Cthulhu-style monster that you're playing against, and that ultimately is the goal of the game Elder Sign. Now, I've found this app to be very true to the tabletop version, and it's easy to play on a phone. Everything's easy to see. However, it does almost have a campaign style when you get to a certain point. There are certain objectives that you have to reach to progress any farther. But it's just a lot of fun, a great way to spend a little time if you have some time on your hands, or you just got to get that board game fixed that you don't have time to do the old-fashioned way. Hey, thanks so much for watching a Fellowship of Meeples. Be sure and check us out on YouTube. You can search for Doug and Doug Gaming. And we'll see you next time right here on Board Game Breakfast. Bye-bye.
All right, folks. Well, I hope you have a fantastic weekend. If you're going to PAX, make sure if you see Mr. Bonacore, stop him and say hi. Eric Summerer will be there. Matthew will be there. I think some other folks from the Dice Tower will be walking around the hall. So if you see them, say howdy.
Please.
Come back and join us. I'm going to be playing a live game later today. Also, Winter Spectacular, only a weekend away. Lots of different events going up, so we hope that you all enjoy that. Anything you want to say, Mr. Bonacore? No? All right. Well, until next time, I'm Tom Vassell.
I'm Z Garcia.
And I am the podfather of gaming, Stephen Bonacore, just to piss off Tom.